WondaGurl is a Canadian producer who's become one of the most sought after names in all of hip hop. She's worked with a ton of big artists like Jay-Z, Drake, Rihanna, and for sure Travis Scott. And her style is mostly dark, like atmospheric sounds alongside hard-hitting drums, and she's really had a significant impact on the sound of contemporary hip-hop, and that's why I'm looking forward to getting into the details with you, and especially how you can incorporate some of those details into your own music. Let's jump in. So to get started here, let's open up Analog Lab because it offers a lot of different sounds that we can potentially use here. And one thing I like about it too is that you can organize it by styles. So since we're making like a WondaGurl type beat, we want it to be sort of hip hop and trap. And so you can actually narrow down a lot of the presets into a specific genre. So let's see if we can find an inspiring sound here from one of these presets. That is gonna be perfect. And you know what I like about that too is I hardly ever find like things that I can use melodic sequence presets for it. So this is perfect. One particular thing I've noticed in the melodies in her beats is that a lot of times she has multiple melodies kind of happening at the same time, and they're really spacey, and they also kind of sound like they've been messed with a lot. So pitched up and down and stretched and all kinds of stuff. And so this will give us a good start because I can already hear sort of multiple melodies in this preset alone. So let's see if we can maybe commit this to audio and then kind of change it around and see if we can make it sound a little bit more interesting. I also really like that too because it's already minor sounding, it's already kind of atmospheric, so we're definitely gonna be on the right track here. So let's create a new audio track and then just resample it by going into resampling mode. Super useful. You can just record the output into a new track of Ableton here. So let's try pitching this down significantly. I'm gonna turn warp on, and then let's go to complex mode so we can keep it sounding the same, and let's go way down here. You can hear it's a lot more haunting now, which I love. The other cool thing about pitching down is that we accomplish two things at the same time. So we make it, darker, but we also literally make it darker in terms of the spectrum, because when you pitch stuff down, it automatically has less high frequency content. I'm kind of feeling like I want to speed it up a little bit though. So I'm gonna move from, let's go to like 140-ish. See how this sounds. Let's see if we can find a way to make this a little bit more interesting. So I'm gonna use one of the other warp modes. How about, let's go to beats, and then one mode that I really like to use is this first one. So you can see it's one arrow and then there's a little line here. That's basically saying it's gonna start and stop with each segment based on what it's detecting. And so let's go to something that's actually on the beat. Let's do quarter notes. And I'm just gonna bring this down a little bit and you'll hear what it starts to do. So I actually chopped up specific parts of the original sample, and just the parts that I liked alone, we could get something that's a little bit more consistent, because right now that sequence preset is kind of all over the place. So check this out. Oh man, I can hear the drums on this already, but we're not gonna do the drums just yet. Let's continue to fill it out a little bit. I'm thinking this could be like the main sound, but I also kind of want to have an alternate sound to, change it up or whatever in a B section. So now I took the melody that we did and I just lowered one side by a full octave and then just picked out different parts of that little sample, and this is what it sounds like. So let's actually just resample this. And then now I just darkened it and turned it into this. So I'm hearing that could be like the intro, and then maybe it could go into this part, right? Then we'll have the beat drop right there. Now I just went through and compressed it and filtered it a little bit so it's a little bit darker, because it's really important in this genre that you create a lot of space in the spectrum for the vocals to really shine through. Now, it's time for us to do the drums. And you knew that was coming next. So what you want to do is assemble a few different sounds together. I like to get everything ready to go before I even start programming the drums. But you want to have like a knocking kick, and you want to have either like a normal snare or a clap. Either one is fine. But the rest of the sounds are going to be really short and dry, because she likes to use these like really short sounding hi-hats. And so one of the packs that has a lot of those is Murda's pack. So I use some of his. So here's what some of the sounds sound like. So let's get a little bit of a bounce here on top of the main sound, because that's when the drums are going to come in. What I did to program this one is I just had like the normal hat going through the whole thing, and then I just added in this little, peppered in a little ear candy with some of the other hats, right? So that's how I like to build out stuff like this, and then the kick and the snare is the easy part. One important thing to remember too for producers like WondaGurl, and especially WondaGurl herself, you need to definitely saturate the drums bus if you can. I like to use just the Ableton saturator, but use, you know, decapitator or whatever you've got. But you just want to get some soft clipping, so it sounds like this. So actually, here's without the saturator. Especially since she uses Fruity Loops, and that's a big part of the Fruity Loops sound I've found, is that they love to do that soft clipping on the drums. And I do too, because I think it sounds really dope. As for the bass sounds, I find that she likes to use sort of longer, deep 808s that kind of hang there on the bottom end, a lot like Metro does, if you're familiar with his songs. But also, she likes to have these B parts where there'll be like a detuned bass underneath the melody. So we're gonna do both of those things. So in this main part, I wanna do obviously a normal-ish 808 for her style, and then we're gonna make a B part with that alternate bass. Now the next bit of sauce that you want to add in, some WondaGurl sauce, is do lots of pitch bending on the 808s. So an easy way to do that is to just double click and open up this clip in Ableton and go to this middle tab here, the automation tab. And if you go from MIDI control to whatever the instrument name is, you can go to transpose right away. This way you can actually transpose, instead of a pitch bend value, which is like a numerical value between 0 and 1, I think, it's a lot more intuitive to use semitones, so you know, like you can do crazy stuff. So I'm just gonna add in some more little interesting little, you know, pieces of automation. So I'm gonna mute this 808 for now, and I'm gonna open up my favorite bass plugin ever, which is Arturia's Mini. And remember, I want it to be detuned. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, well, go to voice detune and make sure unison is on, right? So this register right here, that's the register that you wanna be in. Just hanging very, very, very low. So let's make a bass line that we can add on top of this here. when you're making beats like this, it can be a question sometimes of how to arrange certain things. And one thing I like to think about is that, you know, every 8 or 16, just swap something out or make something change about it. So in the intro, we've got just our intro texture that we made. Then we have everything with the 808 included. Then we come back to the intro texture, but we add in that other bass that we made specifically for that. So the arrangement really comes together when you have all of these options ready to go. And then do we bring everything back in like we did before? No, we change it up again. So we get rid of the kick and we get rid of the 808 and we just have the main texture with the drums here. And did you also notice too that I swapped out that snare for the clap? Because who says you can't use, you know, a clap and a snare in the same song? So it's another good way to change up the bounce a little bit, and then you can bring everything back in as you had it. So now let's take a listen to the way that the beat turned out. Man, one thing that really stood out to me in this process was not to sleep on those melodic sequence presets, right? I always used to skip over those, but they're actually really fun to like chop up and resample and stuff. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this WondaGurl type beat. And if you have any questions about the process or any of the sounds that I use, please let us know down below and we'll get back to you. And as always, happy beat making, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.